Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another YouTube Live here. We had some consolidation where we thought we would have, so let's talk about that. But first, let's quickly get a quick snapshot of the daily chart on both the Gemini as well as the CME futures. So there's not much that's happened. We do see that the daily candle has retraced quite a bit to the downside after making its high of around 90, almost 9,200, basically high 9100s area. And then looking at the CME futures daily chart as well, we can see that it did break the previous high there, but we are seeing that retracement coming back down, which is not ideal, but we do see a decent amount of buy volume coming in. So overall, it definitely still looks like we could see the last push here, but that daily candle does not look super strong, especially when it is near or at the previous high. Definitely not an awesome look for the bulls, but overall I still think that we could consolidate at the top of this zone like we talked about earlier and then make our last push up. So we'll initially talk about what we were thinking of actually what we wanted to see happen potentially in order for us to capture the potential move here. And this is exactly what we talked about yesterday, discussing that loop or the cup and handle there, and then we were wanting to see some level of a consolidation at these zones. It could be up top or it could kind of be down here, but we wanted some level of a consolidation, and that's exactly what we're getting at this point right now, where we have our key level of resistance at the previous high of around $9,100, and then we're seeing a key level of support, which is great because if we do see a break to the downside and then a hold, we're looking for that retest to validate that previously broken support as a new level of resistance before pushing to the downside. So that's something that we really want to be looking at for both cases. If we do break to the upside, most likely we want to pull back, and then we want to enter on the pullback. And then if the price comes and breaks the support and we're looking for more shorts, we want to see that price respect the previously broken support as a new level of resistance before really looking to enter. So overall, that is definitely the outlook that I'm looking for in terms of the price action. Now let's just zoom in right to the consolidation on the 1 hour chart here. And then we also see that nice level of support. So let's draw our snip again. So we see this is a key level of resistance, and then we see that there's a long wick protruding from below the zone, came right back up. Again, another touch, and now it looks like we are testing this same zone again. So we can see that around just under the around 9K, I'd say, right here has been a very key level on the chart. And then we can see that there has been a double top right here with one but two resistances getting rejected quite significantly. So overall, it does definitely look like we are in that sideways channel, which is exactly what we wanted to see. And then if we are able to see that second bottom get supported here, this is the first bottom right here, and if we're able to see that second bottom get supported, that will be looking pretty good. But I think at this point in time, I am going to potentially try to wait until we see one more at least confirmation of the support. So we have one confirmation here, and then we have two confirmation, and then ideally like to see that double confirmation before I look to enter on the near support area with a stop loss below the zone. So I'm personally going to have a little bit more patience with the entry. I don't want to enter only with a single confirmation. I'd like to see a double confirmation, and then I'd like to enter at the lower point within this rectangle with a stop loss below the zone, and then the take profits above the zone with a minimum of 2 to 1 risk reward. So that's the structure that I'm looking for. If we do break to the upside without that, so if we only hit the support twice and the price comes and breaks the zone, and then we hold on the 1 hour, and then we have a slight pullback to validate this previous resistance as a new level of support on the 1 hour time frame. If we're able to close it, then I could look to potentially enter here with a stop loss below this previous level of resistance, which is going to act as a new level of support. So overall, I definitely think that we could still continue upwards. My bias is to the upside. Even though we double topped, I still think that we could see some bullish action continue on. So unfortunately, we did get a decent amount of sell volume on this candle right here, which is going to be this bearish volume. But overall, because we went over what could happen in the previous video within the public channels, this is that consolidation, and then if we are able to get the bulls to come back up, that would look really good overall. And if we don't, we do have a very solid structured plan for how we're going to go about attacking the market if the price does fail this current support that we're in within the consolidation. So we would need to see, if we wanted to see a short, is for the price to break this zone, hold on the hourly chart, basically show us this, but the opposite, where we're seeing the price come down, break the zone, hold a small level of support, come back, retest this previous support as a new level of resistance. Once we start to see the price not be able to get back up, and then we see the sell pressure start to come into the market, then we can look to enter maybe potentially of a minor level of support if we do get a nice little double top here, and then we'd enter at the break of the minor level of support, potentially even pulling back before making a move to the downside. That's getting pretty granular with our detail, but overall that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a break to the downside and then a pullback validating the previously broken zone as a new level of support. And that's where we want to enter before we make our potential next move to the downside around to the $8,800 zone. But I think that if we are holding this longer term consolidation, we could definitely see the lows around 83. So that would be a very, very solid risk reward. And just quickly looking at the daily chart, I do think that we do have a mid-range zone, but if we get rejected off this area again, I would not be surprised if we do make that potential move all the way back down to the 82s, $8,300 area. So it's a pretty critical point at this current section, because if we're consolidating at this zone and we do break to the upside, we'd be making a brand new high, which is very significant. And then also we'd be breaking a key level of resistance if we are able to hold on the daily chart. So overall, we are in a pretty important zone. So we want to ensure that we're taking the right action while staying very patient until that confirmation comes that we should be either taking a move to the upside or downside. So we want to ensure that we're staying patient. We will not act until we get a signal. And like I said before, I would ideally like to see 3 touches. So this is the first one. We see another level if it respects right here. And then I'd look to potentially enter on that final level. So this is where I would look to enter if we are able to see the 3rd touch of the support get held. And basically, I'm not going to be looking to enter until we see 1 touch, 2 touch, and then that 3rd touch if there is a bullish engulfing candle, if there is a significant bullish pin bar, if there is a double bottom and we break a really minor level of resistance and then retest it as a support, something along those lines. If we're able to see, that would be on the smaller time frames because it's hard to tell on the hour chart. But if you're really looking at the granular details, those are the types of situations or price action confirmations that you're looking for in order to get the best possible entry for a high probability setup. So overall, that's what I'm anticipating for BTC. Like I said, I have no trades in right now in terms of Bitcoin. I want to ensure that I have the best possible entry, and for that, I need at least 3 touches of the support here in order for me to identify a channel, or I'd like to see a price break the zone and then retest the 91.50-ish zone for a new level of support on the 1 hour chart before I look to enter long at this point. And then a short would be a break to the downside, a retest, and then I'd look to short. But I will be taking profits pretty quickly for the short because overall, I still think that breaking this key level of descending resistance right here was a very significant break in the overall trends. So look how well that is respected. That is not a minor level. That is a very, very significant line on the chart, which is going to give me indications that when we inevitably break it like we did, we will see a pretty significant shift in trend, and we have had a nice pullback to validate the initial zone, and then we've really only had one major impulse push to the upside, and then had a nice correction holding the previous resistance as a new level of support. And I think that next push still could come in, like I've been saying, and that's why I'm a little bit more biased towards the upside. But like always, the smaller term price action will determine which way we're going to be looking. So I hope you enjoyed enjoyed this video. We will quickly talk about the BTC longs here. It is holding the previous resistance pretty well, previous level of resistance right here, new level of support, and we see those higher lows forming that ascending trend line, which is also another level of support, which creates a zone of confluence where the price is right now, which then potentially creates the previous high of the market structure for the BTC longs on Bitfinex as the market low for the next structure. Simple previous zone of resistance, new zone of support, and it does look pretty favorable for the potential longs to continue the purchasing of longs at this point here, because we've seen basically a double confirmation from the daily chart where we have the first level of support right here, and then we got a little impulse move, and then we came back down to form a double bottom, and now we are looking like we could be gaining some buy volume again. And then this is the minor level of support because that was initially where we rejected. So overall, it does look pretty solid for our longs. Not going to get too into it because we will definitely be making a video shortly, because the price is in such a key zone on the chart. We want to ensure that everyone is staying updated with the price. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment either in our YouTube comments or in our Discord. And if you're watching this from the YouTube channel, feel free to join our Discord. It doesn't cost anything. We post videos like this pretty often, and we post charts with written descriptions of what we're able to see. We'll talk about different alts. We'll talk about Bitcoin in a little bit more of a fast-paced, quicker method, because we won't be making videos every single time we want to update our students. We just be sometimes posting a picture with a bit of a description so you guys have a good understanding of what happened in the market. But with Bitcoin, because we cover it so much, it's pretty easy to stick along and understand where my view is anyway, because we just post so much on the price action of BTC. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you are new to TA or technical analysis, I hope you find this digestible, or at least somewhat informative, so you can better understand how to view the markets, or at least how we view the markets, because everyone's different. We don't really have a whole lot of fundamentals that we look at play. I'll look at mostly technicals or somewhat technical tools, like using the percentage of short versus longs, looking at the market cap of BTC or the BTC dominance. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I definitely think that we are 95% technicals. We'd sometimes look at fundamentals, but it's definitely the price action that plays the majority of the part in terms of our entries and exits. So I hope you enjoyed it, and like always, happy trading, everyone.